Hello, parents. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what time you are actually watching this presentation. My name is Josh Shipton. This is my 17th year here at Cocalico High School, and this is personal finance. That's what we've called it for the previous 15 years, but last year they decided to change the name of the course to Career and Financial Awareness. Still basically the same setup for the class. You can see my email address right here. That's usually the best way to get a hold of me if you have any question about your son or daughter in my class. So a little brief introduction to the class. It is a ninth grade course. It is a graduation requirement, meaning the kids do have to pass this class in order to graduate. Basically, it's a money management course. In most simplistic level, that's what we talk about most of the time. I told the students on day one, no fear about this class because only the lazy fail. So even though it is a graduation requirement, usually the only kids that really fail the class are ones that don't turn in assignments. The content is not an issue in this course. I told them they don't have to be a brain surgeon or a rocket scientist to understand the content. They should be pretty good with that. However, I do stress the importance of this class because it's one class where, as you see some of the content we cover, it's going to be material that they're going to use all throughout their lives. And usually when I have parents in attendance, they ask, well, why are the kids taking this in ninth grade? And that's a great question. The fact of the matter is it's just the way that it best fits into their schedule. But if the kids do need a refresher, we now offer a 12th grade elective called financial literacy, where the kids can actually get this material presented again in a little more advanced manner. As far as grading in this class goes, I've never once had a kid tell me that I'm not fair, so I think I'm fair with my grading, especially this year with kids being online. As long as they turn in an assignment, they are going to get points for it, and as of now, I haven't even given late points, taken points away for assignments turned in late. The class is points based. I don't weight anything, everything's just really points based. The marking periods in the end will count for 45, each marking period will count for 45% of their grade, and final exam is only 10% of their final grade. The final will be open notes, so as long as they're doing a good job getting notes for each unit that we cover, final exam should be very, very easy. And large majority of all the points that they will earn are based on the tests that we take for each unit and also the major projects that we do related to each unit. The very first unit that we covered was a unit on career research and just careers in general. So they did a research project on 3 different careers that they were interested in. We talked about filling out job applications, ways to handle themselves in job interviews, some tips for actually how to conduct themselves, how to answer questions. Talked a little bit about resumes, even though they're a little bit of ways from having to create an actual resume. We did discuss that. And usually we would do a little activity with the counselors on some career exploration, but this year with everything that's happening, that activity did not get to take place. The second unit we cover is on paychecks and taxes. So again, we look at different ways that you can earn your income, discuss minimum wage, and they will actually be completing some 1040 forms. They've taken away the 1040 EZ form that students used to use, so they will actually learn how to fill out a 1040 form so that they can do their taxes. We give them a look at what the W-2 form is and also the W-4 form so that when they start working, they will be familiar with those forms. And we also do a little Microsoft Excel activity where they can see just exactly when someone is earning an hourly wage, how much tax they're going to lose off of their paycheck. So they get a good exposure to both earning income and also paying taxes. Third unit we do is all about banking. So the largest portion of the class is talking about checking accounts and checking account management. So they'll learn how to fill out checks, how to complete their register, deposit slips, and also do a reconciliation at the end of the month. We also talk a little bit about interest rates and some calculations that go along with that, and discussing right now current interest rates on savings accounts and the importance of saving some money. The fourth unit we do is the credit unit, which I feel like is probably one of the most important ones for them to be exposed to because all of them are going to have to borrow money at some point in their life. So we talk about the 3 C's of credit, different types of credit that will be available to them, whether it be a loan, credit cards, and the positives and negatives of using credit. And one of the favorite activities usually of kids each year is we have a series called Oprah's Debt Diet, which was filmed a couple years ago with Oprah Winfrey. where she follows around 3 families who are experiencing credit problems, and largely due to the misuse of credit. So kids usually like to see that video, and hopefully they learn from it and don't make the mistakes that the families in that video made. We also do a little activity with a credit card and purchasing a flat screen TV and simply making the minimum payments on the credit card. So after a year, they'll see just how much more in debt they are by simply making the minimum payment on a credit card rather than paying off the bill in full at the end of the month. So again, a lot of good exposure here to using credit, and they'll understand the importance of credit throughout their lifetime, but also the dangers in abusing credit that's available to them. In the 5th unit, this goes along with the credit unit, basically the fact that they should try and budget their money. So we talk about different expenses that they will have throughout their lifetime, whether they are fixed or variable expenses. And we also talk about discretionary income. So the fact that if they want to go out and do, the fun things that they really enjoy, they need to make sure that they have the income available for that. And also just how budgets can be applied to their personal life. So we do a lot of different budgeting activities where they can actually see how setting up a budget will actually help them get through a major purchase or a major expense. One of them that we do is 7 days of meals. So I have the kids actually plan out 7 days worth of meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they have to go online and do some grocery shopping for all those meals, and they'll actually get a pretty good insight as to how expensive food can be. So they have to learn to budget for what they're going to be spending at the grocery store each week. Next unit we do is on housing. We really spend most of the time on apartments because for most kids, once they leave home, an apartment is likely going to be their first choice. So we'll look at some sample leases. We'll take a little look at how to examine apartment ads to really figure out what's going on with that. And also just discuss what they should look for in the apartment, because they need to differentiate between the wants that they might have versus the needs that they will have when it comes to housing. And while it might be nice to have all the wants, it's also going to drive up the expense of that housing option. So they really need to focus on the needs when it comes to their housing. And the last unit that we get to that we usually have very little time for is just a basic introduction into investments. So we will be talking about stocks, mutual funds, and bonds. Those are the 3 basic investments that we will try and expose them to. We do talk about IRAs and 401ks, very, very basic. And again, just stressing the importance of having those as soon as they start working so that they can start saving towards retirement. And just overall the importance of investing their money so that later on in life they can do the things that they want by making the money work for them. Another major project that we will do, it's called Family Financial Management Project, and usually this is a group project, but that will likely change this year because of not having the ability to have kids sit in groups and work together. But what this project is, it's a monthly simulation where they will take on the role of a fictional person, and they will have to do all their financial transactions throughout that month. So they will be exposed to a bunch of different real forms. It could be bank statements, it could be debit card applications, tax forms, and they will actually have to complete those forms and also maintain that person's checking account throughout the month and make sure everything's working for them and they're sticking to their budget. And also one other program that we have that's very helpful this year is we have a program called Virtual Personal Finance, and you can see the web address right there for it. And if you've ever been exposed to the video game The Sims, really that's what it is, but only in an educational setting. So it really reinforces all the different topics that we talk about, but now they get to do it more so in a video game setting, and usually they enjoy doing those lessons. So in a nutshell, that's what the class is. So you can see the topics that we do cover. And again, I think, biased in teaching this class, it's probably one of the most important classes they will take while they're in high school. Hopefully they enjoy the class. Hopefully they do learn something from it. And again, even though they're 9th graders, hopefully some of this material sticks with them, especially later on in life. Again, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to email me, and hopefully you enjoyed the presentation. Take care.